Alright guys, quick video. We'll look at the buds quick. I'm making the video because I'm finding some pollen sacs, some male flower on the female flower. It's feminized seed, so it's not perfect. Talk a little bit about that. But I'm finding some pollen sacs, some nanners. So going through, I wanted to show you guys that, but take a look at the nugs quick. It's the 29th today of January. Those purple queen nugs shot out some, the pistils shot out a little more heavy, a little farther. So those are gonna start to fill out. That's how the bud grows. You'll see those female pistils, which are those little hairs. People call them hairs on buds, but they're called pistils. They consume the pollen. They're there to intake the pollen when it hits the tip of one of those hairs. So unless you want seed, if you find these pollen sacs that I'm finding, you want to remove them, because if they pop, pollen flies around, hits one of those hairs, pistils. It's probably going to produce some seed for you. This isn't a big problem for me, but I don't want a ton of it. I don't want a ton of seed in my bud, because it's kind of a nuisance taking it all out, and you don't really want to be smoking seeds. So yeah, I wanted to show you guys. I found some already. I sprayed them with IPA. Don't mind my coffee stains here. Can I get a good zoom on them? There they are. You can see the nanners. They call them nanners because they kind of look like bananas, curved. And all those little bananas go around. They all come together to form something like that there, something like the whole pollen sac. And that's what the pollen sac looks like. And you can mistake a pollen sac for a female flower pretty easily. One of these little female flowers, if you don't know what you're really looking for, I'll show you guys a calyx. They're at the beginning of every little bud. Calyx is the beginning of every flower, female flower. Where is it? Where are we here? Right there. There's one. Just went to the main stem just to find it easier. Not really getting a good look at it. But the pistils are shooting out of that one. But you can see the female flower. It's fat at the bottom, and then it comes to a tip at the, like a little curve to a tip, whereas the pollen sac is more of like an outward curve to a tip. This one, the female, curves in, and then it's got the pistils at the top. Oh, here's one. They're everywhere, and I'm just slacking on finding them. See that right there? A little hair coming out at the bottom here. Unless you really know what you're looking for, you might think that's a pollen sac. That is a female flower. Like I said, it's at the beginning of every little bud. That's my favorite part of the female flowers, the calyx. It's just, they look so pretty to me, especially when they got some nice color. But yeah, clearly the pistils are shooting out of that one. Sometimes the female flower, like one of those, it will get taken over with a male flower, and you'll find some bananas, some pollen, a little pollen sac growing out of one of those little female flowers. I found it before. It's pretty nuts, and they kind of hide on you, so you got to be careful. This one right here is the pollen sac I wanted to show you. I left it on to show you guys. And if you guys see that, you can kind of see the dark and light green striping there. Those are the nanners, call them. I don't know what the actual scientific term is for each one of those little banana looking things that make the whole pollen sac, but they all curve together in order to make that little sac. And you can see the difference from the calyx. The calyx curves in to a little point, and then it's got the white hairs coming out. This one has no white pistils coming out the top, and you can see the difference in the shape. They always grow at the little base of the buds there. So that's where you want to look. The inside, in between the bud and the stem, right underneath the bud, like underneath the little leaves there, they hide. And you'll miss some of them. You'll think you get them all, and some of them just hide on you. So I wanted to show you guys that. Ideally, I should be wearing gloves and then spraying. Well, typically you can spray them with water and then remove them. That way when you grab them, the pollen doesn't fly everywhere. It's kind of weighed down. And then you just spray it off your fingertips into a little bucket or wherever you're putting them. But that keeps the pollen down. I was just pulling them off, putting it on the table, spraying them off my fingers with isopropyl alcohol. So yeah, I'm going to take that one off. I can do it right now. Hopefully, without popping it. Sometimes if you get them early enough, you're gentle enough, you can grab them without breaking them. So there she is. Up. And there she blows. Well, I'm gonna have to find her. I gotta spray her. I gotta find that, spray it. Where the heck did it go? Oh, I have no clue where that went, but I'm gonna have to find it. So, well, I hope you guys saw it. I'll probably show you more in the future. So, there's a little look at the. Let me sit down here. I'm killing my legs. A little look at the plants from a little zoom out. You can see how cleaned up the bottoms are. There are some branches that I left on. Some of those purple queen that I wanted to take off. Like, you can see that one in the back there. The little ones at the bottom I kind of like to take off, but like I always say, it's finding the in-between, you know. You're not going to make the top nugs massive if you keep taking off a lot of the foliage. I mean, the plant's got to consume the nutrients somehow. And without all the foliage and buds to do so, you know. So it's got about a half to a third of the buds, I'd say the branches and the buds left on. All the stakes are for primary branches. I have no secondary branches staked. Ideally, take all those lower branches, all those lower secondary branches that were going to be long and need staking. You want to get those off because those really are just a nuisance. They don't get much light, and yeah, you just want to clean up the plants enough so you only got to stake those main branches. These wedding crasher I'm going to stake this weekend, I think, just to spread the branches out and get them all set. You can see I'm pushing this branch out. But yeah, I think this dwarf is liking the lift. I'm getting pretty hot here sitting under this light. So I'm about to bounce. But Thanks for checking out the pollen stacks with me. I really need to get to that one that fell before I forget about it. We'll look at the light there. Alright guys. Hope everything's good with you guys. God bless you. Thanks for watching. Peace out.